all. In you alone I find peace. In you alone I find strength. In you alone I find love. In you alone I find joy. In you alone. Thank you for the price you paid. Thank you for your love. Oh, thank you for your my hope.
Good morning.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, and welcome to today's session, or some people might call it a webinar. Either way, we are here to learn, and I want to appreciate everyone for being able to make it this morning. I know some kids are just waking up, and some parents are planning to make breakfast for their kids and their spouses. So I want to appreciate everyone for still making that effort to join us today. We might have other people join, but we don't want to stay here for too long. It's already 11 minutes past 10 in Saskatchewan time and Alberta time. In Nigeria, I'll talk about Nigeria because I still invited people from Nigeria and UK to join. It's something for everybody to learn. We want to actually help our community to be more enlightened on how you can really invest in real estate, or should I say from your own house to having another house and then building wealth. So we have an expert here. He's a realtor. His name is Segun Walter Keshiru. He was joining us now. Yes, his video is turned on. I want to appreciate him for having to share this knowledge with us, because this is something that we ourselves are very, very interested in knowing. Many people want to buy a home, own a home, and sometimes we make some mistakes, which is, we can understand that if we can either learn from our mistakes or learn from other people's mistakes, but it's better to learn from people's mistakes because that is less costly. So if you've delayed one way or the other in buying your home, don't feel guilty. And if you've been mocked, don't feel guilty. The main thing is that you are here today, you will buy. So your house will be the latest. Either way it may be. That's what I see. So for those who have not bought their homes and they feel, I've been wasting time, but no more wasting of time. Take the advantage of the knowledge you get from Segun Walter Keshiru. Thank you for having to share this knowledge with us today. Not too many people are knowledgeable and they have questions to ask. So he will present this morning or this afternoon, wherever you are in Canada or in Nigeria or in UK. I would say welcome again, and please learn something today. You have something to share, or you feel concerned about one thing or the other, don't hesitate to ask, and he will clarify those concerns that you have. So Mr. Segun Walter Keshiru, welcome again, and we have you to share with us some information that is relevant that will help every one of us here. Thank you again.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. In fact, let's just say good day. Is my voice clear enough, or should I turn up a notch?
Well, it's okay from my end. I want to believe everybody. If you can't hear him properly, you could leave some message in the chat. My co-host Tessie Agbato, she's here too. She's going to assist with
That
meeting
name,
your
sounds
concerns.
very, very familiar, but we'll get at that one later. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. I'm always excited to be in the midst of like minds, not to sell, not to present, but to share knowledge and to impact ourselves. So even though I'm going to be speaking today, I would urge all of us to see ourselves as people or individuals who have something to say. So when it comes to questions and answers, when it comes to suggestions as well, a man is never an island. I'm just opportune by the grace of God to know a few things about real estate. I've been in the real estate business for 6 years in Canada as a realtor, and I'm also a prepaid contractor, which means I flip homes. I've developed basement, and I'm working towards being a home builder. So with that being said, we're just going to be diving briefly into different things. We're not going to be hitting it, head on, because if we do that, we'll not be able to leave here today. But there's room for questions, there's room for one-on-ones, with Tosin, with myself, and any other person you're working with through your real estate journey. Like I said, this is not a sales pitch or a presentation. This is just for us to understand a few things, when we're buying our home. And we titled this Building Wealth, Not Debt. Building wealth, not debt. When you build something, if you don't build it on the solid ground, it could become a disaster. But if you build it on solid ground with knowledge, with expertise, with mentors, it can potentially become something that would grow to the point where you will not understand because you cannot understand the impact when you're building until you start the journey. So we'll be looking at why real estate is a powerful wealth building tool. We also look at understanding the real cost of ownership. We look at the key strategies to invest smartly in Canada. And I apologize, I didn't know that people are good, but I mean, this also can work anywhere you are, just that there are different policies, there are different strategies. There's one size fits all when it comes to some things, some ideas, but every country would have their own things to look into. Does it make sense? So I also talk about the 4 home journey of a typical Canadian homeowner and latest trends and statistics of the real estate. Now, this one I won't dive deeply into it because we have some people from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, from Ontario, from Manitoba, from Alberta. So all these things are different. But the good thing is you have a real estate professional in your own province. You can reach out to them and understand what the market is saying. Please don't walk blindly. Now, another thing is buying a home in Canada, you can actually do it by yourself. Example, you want to buy a new home, all you have to do is walk into a show home or a builder's office and say, I want to buy a home, and they will attend to you. But always remember that they are there to sell their home, not to sell a home. They are there to sell their product, not to sell what fits you. So what they have might fit you and might not fit you. That's why I'm always advising that you guys work with a professional, at least get insight. It costs you nothing when you're buying a home. So what are the pros of buying a home? Number one, it's a long-term investment, which some people don't like, and I get it. Some people don't like this long-term thing of, I put my money into this thing now. When will I get to realize my money? Hey, you can get to pull out equity from your house once the time is right. So always remember, it's a long-term investment. And if you understand how the economy works, every economy, we have the inflation. For example, 3.5% averagely every year. Right now, Trump is saying 25% tariffs on different, on different products for different countries. Let's see what's going to happen. Are we going to run into a depression or a recession? We don't know. But there's always inflation, which means your $2 or your 2 naira or your 2 pounds last 2 years, the power or the value of that is not the same as now. In fact, it has reduced. That's what we call time value of money. Now, the good thing is the economy also gives room for your real estate to also increase when it comes to value. So the house you bought today at $500,000 or 200,000 pounds or 20 million naira, it's very, very possible that in the next 5 years, it's no longer that amount. So you can see that as the value of your currency is weakening, where you need more money to buy less goods, the value of a home is also increasing. So the down payment you put or the equity you have in your home is also increasing without you knowing. So always have that at the back of your mind that long-term investing is not a bad thing. Yes, there's short-term investing where you want liquid cash, tangible assets and stuff, but long-term investing also helps you fight inflation when creating wealth. Now, another thing is building equity for possible future use. I don't know if anyone has come across one of, insurance agency. We want to sell universal life insurance and not term insurance. Why? Because you can use the funds in the policy in the future, whether policy loan or policy withdrawal or collateralized bank loan at your retirement and stuff. So you will not wonder which one would I prefer? if I ask you guys now, or anyone here, that, for example, Tosin, how long have you been driving in Canada?
4 years, immediately I landed.
So 4 years. So you have technically paid car insurance for 4 years, right?
I didn't even think of that. Yes. Don't let me think of it,
So,
please.
so if you times that amount that you've been paying, times the amount, just take an average, just take an average amount and times it by 12 times 4, you see the amount you've given to someone and that money is not coming back. And when you live in the Western world, you know that when you earn income, there are a lot of things fighting for that income. So if you don't put your money in a place that it will grow, you just keep working, and that's the truth. So I mean, I wish I had an insurance company that tells me, okay, if you pay your car insurance and there's no claim for 3-4 years, we'll give you 6 months free. At least I'm getting something back for what I'm spending. So I'm just dashing them money. And that's the same thing about renting as well. I'm not saying renting is bad, we'll get into that. So when you look at life insurance, for example, the term insurance is like your car insurance. Universal life insurance is you pay much more, but you'll save. There's an investment portion in that payment every month that yields what we call funds value, and over time grows to what we call cash value that you can actually access. So when you hear about long-term investment or possibly building equity for possible future use, don't get scared. It's for your good. The truth is, not all of us have a smooth sailing financial situation all the time. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. Even the wealthy, sometimes they are liquid in cash, sometimes they want to borrow. And that's why the wealthy says, you know what? I don't want to use my liquid cash to do business. I want to borrow. So another thing is sense of stability. You know that what you're putting in every month, at least you're building a part of it is being used to build your own thing that you can access in the future. And that same thing that you're paying for every month, that part of it is going to help you to access in the future. You can also make money from it by potential rental income. Most of us, when we came to Canada, most of us when we come abroad, we want to quickly rush to buying a home, but we don't get knowledge of what we need to do, how we need to go about it. Sometimes we go with our emotions. Oh, I like this kitchen. This kitchen fine, gone. Oh, I like this house. Look at the outside. This thing big, 3-car garage. In the future, we get 3 cars. We can have 3 cars in the future. Why not? Yes, you're right. I'm not saying don't pay attention to your emotions. Do. Sentiments, do. But also understand that emotions will pay the bills if the chips go down. And that's why I also want to bring us to the cons of buying a house. When you hear pros in life, there's always a con. Now, the pros can outweigh the cons, or the cons can outweigh the pros. So one of the cons of buying a home, especially in this part of the world, is one, you have an increased financial burden. When you're renting, all you're probably paying for is your internet, your utility, your light, electricity, and your rent, which could potentially increase over time, but you have some laws protecting you as a tenant, where you can't just be kicked out and things like that. I'm not going to get into that. But when you buy a house, it's so much more. If you're lucky that the mortgage is almost equivalent to your rental, you also have to understand that one, you're paying not just electricity, but you're paying the whole utility when it comes to gas, natural gas, water, electricity, and garbage. You're also paying for home security because, of course, you want to have the home security features in your house where, just to give you more peace of mind. You're also paying for what we call property tax, which is the fastest way of losing your home, which people don't know. If you skip your mortgage 1-2 months, you can be forgiven. If you skip your property tax, that's how you get foreclosures. 30% of foreclosures in Canada is by those who skipped their property tax. And that's the fastest way of what? Of taking your house from you. So it's a must. And for us in Edmonton, Our property tax is 1.06% of the government value of your house, which brings me to one point, the difference between government value and market value. Government value is used for government to help you for taxation, and market value is determined based on the trend or what's happening at that point in time in the market, in the real estate market. So most of the time, your market value is more than your government value, but the government has the right to always evaluate your property based on what's happening around you, whether there are new infrastructures and stuff, and increase it. The moment they start increasing your value, the good thing is at least you can sell it for more. The not so good thing is you're paying more property tax. So property tax is one thing that you need to understand that, hey, okay, you're also going to be paying for, example, homeowners association fee and stuff, or condo fees. I mean, we'll get into that. And the next con, which is not limited to 3, is less flexibility to move. When you're sinking money to somewhere, example, you pay 5% for your first home, and your first home, if you want to move to a different place, it's sometimes hard. Number one, you have to understand that, okay, there's moving costs. If you have kids, you change their schools. Probably you want to sell the house or rent the house. There's what we call vacancy rate and occupancy rate, which is why when you're buying a house, you need to understand all these things before you delve into where I want to buy the house. So those things are inconveniences. There are other inconveniences, but I'm not going into that. Like I said, this is just a 1-hour thing. Let us delve into just a few things so that we can understand things better and ask questions. Now, the 50% rule for personal stress test. I want to say that please, let's buy what we need and not what we want. Example, I came to this country 2018 and I came with a wife and 2 kids, and we started from an apartment. So when we started from an apartment looking for a house, it's the same. If you get the same square footage, it's not bad. I'm not saying do that, get another apartment. No. But I'm saying even if you get the same square footage or the same area space, it will still work. So when you are going for example, when you want to buy a house and you go for mortgage pre-approval, they'll ask you different things. And one of the major things they'll ask you is your monthly income, especially your household income if you're buying with your spouse, that's if you're married. And the bank will run a stress test on you saying, okay, this man and this woman, they earn an average of $20,000, right? Example. So if they lose their income by 30%, how much mortgage can they afford the next 5 years or the next 3 years? That's what we call stress test. So they'll say, okay, Mr. A, Mrs. A, you are approved for $1 million, for $400,000 and stuff. Yes, it's good. My advice is when the bank approves you, because we know that financial situations can change, sometimes for the good, sometimes for the not so good. Right? I'm a typical example. I want you guys to run a stress test on yourself privately. There are many apps that can help you understand with your income how much you can get as mortgage. Now, you say to yourself, what if my income reduces by 50%? Will I still be able to make the payments for the mortgage? So what I'm trying to say is don't rely on your present or current income to buy your house or to determine if you can afford a particular property. The month, because it's a concurrent or recurrent expenditure. And trust me, in this country, in the Western world, the bills take probiotics. That's how I call it. They take probiotics. So you want to ask yourself, if we lose our income by 50%, are we still able to pay this mortgage? So that's why I call the 50% rule. And if you can work with that and buy the house that even if you lose 50%, you will not be under stress or duress. Maybe you want to take some time to ask people who have lost their homes based on the fact that they lost their jobs. It's not fun. especially when you have kids or when you have been grounded or built, or you have been grounded into that environment. And that's why I always advise people I talk to, if you have a husband and a wife, you both should try not to be a 9 to 5, or have something on the side, or one person be 9 to 5, the other person start growing something where you can control and fall back on if anything happens. But that's by the way. So I said potential increase of mortgage payment. You want to put into consideration potential increase of property tax as your property is increasing in value, in government value, your property is also increasing. Potential increase in homeowners insurance. There's no house you will buy and you get the keys without insurance. Potential home increase of utilities. Yes, when I came to this country, how much are we paying? Right now, I'm paying $900 every month during winter and $700 every month spring and summer. But when we came to this country and I bought my house, by the way, I bought my house 2 months after I landed Canada. People said it was not possible. There's also a way to that, a legal way to that. Because most of us bring proof of funds, and the next thing we're buying a brand new vehicle. I almost made that mistake as well. Most of us bring proof of funds, and the next thing we want to live in Banana Island of Canada. Think about it properly. Because here, there's no uncle or auntie. If your uncle becomes a minister here, it doesn't mean you're wealthy. That is Nigeria mentality. But here, there is no uncle or auntie that will help you get that fast. Oh, I know Seyi Tinubu. It doesn't work that way. So, potential increase in homeowners association fee or condo fees. These things are things you want to put in. You want to put into consideration before accepting to buy a particular property at a particular price. Which is why I said every square footage must make money for you. Don't see real estate as, mommy, I don't buy house, so praise the Lord. No, see it as an investment, as a business. Even though you are living, see, this is how I think. I'm a renter in my own property. That means I own the property and I rent the property. So if every square footage is not working for me, well, not every, but if my house is not working for me, if I don't get something back, then it's an issue. I'm a realtor. I work from home. So my business is renting my space. So that way I'm helping my tax in some kind of way. Now I have a basement. Most of us, our basements are junkyards because we're coming from a place where we keep what we don't need. We keep things we don't need as okay, we'll repair it the next day. No, 4 years, 3 years is still there. That space is a potential money-making space. That space is a potential money-making space. So when you are buying a house, you want to think, okay, even if I buy this house, how will the house pay me back? Now, I said, don't buy a bigger home than you currently need. And I will talk about that. Look for homes with income-generating potential. And look for homes where you can actually do what we call legal basements, short-term rentals like Airbnb, Vrbo, and the rest. Not every community in Canada allows short-term rentals, so do your research. And sometimes the short-term rentals, they have pros and cons. Also, the long-term lease, like the 1-year lease, if you have a legal basement, doesn't have the pros and cons. There's in real estate, there's what we call vacancy rate and occupancy rate. Occupancy rate is the rate at which every home is occupied, every rental space is occupied. Now, vacancy rate is how many vacant homes you have per 100 rental spaces. So when you're buying the home, you also want to understand, okay, in this area, how is the vacancy rate like, or the occupancy rate like? Is it 1%? For example, Calgary increased the vacancy rate of Calgary increased by 3.5%. Hey, that is not good. But that does not mean that some areas did not find increase in occupancy rate in that same city. So buying a house is not just I want to buy a house, is I want to create I want to go into an investment. You want to do your business, real estate business plan, even though you're not going to be living in the house. Always remember, in real estate, profit is made when you buy, not when you sell. In real estate, there's what we call, we have two situations. One is buyer's market, two is seller's market. Now you have buyer's market, you have seller's market. The one common thing they have is interest rate increase or decrease. The buyer's market is when you have a situation in the real estate market where there is more supply and less demand. Let me put it in lay terms. There are many homes available on the market, but there are few buyers. And those few buyers are created by one, increase in interest rates. Increase in interest rate. Sorry, I apologize. Just give me 1 second. I apologize, please. A hands-on father of four. I apologize for that. Okay. So,
Thank you.
So, more homes for sale, but less buyers, less purchasing power, which means the interest rate is probably high. That's one. Two, the rate of application or the rate of mortgage application is high as well. When I say rate, I mean the qualifying rate. That's what I mean. Qualifying rate of mortgage is also high. So which means not everyone can easily access mortgage. At that point in time, but builders beg to sell. That's why you see they do promo. If you buy from us, we give you $5,000 extra. If you buy from us, we give you landscaping. Okay, we are doing a discount. We have reduced our house of $600 now is $550. Buy now, buy now, buy now. That is the time you want to enter the market. Because when you enter the market at that time, guess what happens? You don't need the market. You don't really need to rely 100% on the market when you are selling because you bought at a good price. But when you buy at a seller's market where there is many demands, high demand but low supply, that way a lot of people, they are fighting for just one good or just one property. That is when the builders say, you know what, we are increasing our price our price by $20,000. So you'll be shocked that the house or the home you purchase in the buyer's market at $400,000, when it comes to seller's market, like the next 2 months, for example, is what? $450,000. And that's where you have already made $50,000 equity already. Now, what causes the seller's market? We are gradually creeping into a seller's market where the government is bringing down the interest rate and the qualifying rate of mortgage is also being weakening, thereby allowing more people have access to mortgage. So you will see that when the interest rates start to reduce because government is trying to correct something economically, the builders will take that advantage and say, okay, more people will come to our showroom, let's increase our price. And those guys, they are like a cartel. Once this one is increasing, it's normal. It's normal. So when you buy a house is when you win in real estate, not when you sell. And I can go ahead, I can go ahead and give you examples. I bought my home for a certain amount. And that was October 2018. As at January 2019, before the COVID, the house has increased by $20,000. And I'm not even taking possession. So let me quickly briefly jump into the mindset I had before buying my first home. Okay, I sat with someone and the person said, hey, Shegun, don't buy a house now. Build cash. Don't use the cash you brought from wherever you're coming from. Build cash, then use the profit to buy a house. But I didn't listen. And that's the reason best known to me, right? But when it's a buyer's market, you can look into not only new or used home, you can also look into homes that you can flip. You can also look into homes that you can flip, because while you are trying to remodel that house, the market could be going to seller's market. And when it's going to seller's market, what happens? That means you have sunk in X amount of money, but while selling it, the property has generally increased. So you are having increment in two different ways. The first way is what? You have increment that you have remodeled the home and improved the property because you bought it when it was needing attention. Then the second one is now the market is saying we are going up when it comes to pricing. So some people will say, I want to go buy a new home, which has its great benefits. There's the 1 year warranty for appliances when you buy a new home. So if anything happens in 1 year, the manufacturer of the appliance take over it. There's what we call a 2 year warranty when it comes to plumbing and electrical. If anything happens, you call the builder. There's what we call 5 year warranty on the envelope and the roofing. So if you had your sidings on your exteriors falling apart or your roofing leaking, you can call the builder. Then the 10 year warranty on the foundation on a new home. But used home has an advantage as well. Just that if you buy a 5-year-old house, of course, you don't have that 1 year and 2 years. If you buy a 6-year-old house, you have that 1 year, 2 year, 5 year warranty. But they have their own advantage as well, because number one, you could buy it in a very good location. Now, but you could also say, hey, as a new person in Canada, instead of me buying a new home, I can keep renting and use my down payments to buy something I want to flip and make money. And that is where I get into, if you do that, what you are stylishly doing is you are learning the ropes of real estate, of one part of real estate investing. That's if you see real estate as an investment, if you see buying your house as an investment property. So if, for example, you just like to come and say, you know what, this has been buying a home, I'll give myself 1 year. Let me live in that rental space first and use the down payment to work with a realtor or someone to buy a home that needs attention or improvement. Now, get tradesmen to improve it and sell it. You can actually get $50,000 to $60,000 on that transaction alone as gross profit. Then government comes in knocking on your door. So let's say 20K. So just by doing that, add like maybe $20,000 or $30,000 to your down payment. And if your 9 to 5 says, Manam, Baba, leave, you are creating what we call self-employment for yourself. Another thing is quick wealth building. Because the first 2 transactions you do when it comes to flipping, you will learn, you will make mistakes. You will meet people, you will meet tradesmen that would eat you raw. That's the truth. It's not, oh, I'm getting all those HGTV you're watching. It doesn't work that way. You make mistakes. It's bound to happen. Everyone wants to eat everyone in this country. If they know that you're a newbie, what happens is what you pay $4,000 for, they'll say is $8,000. But you don't know. You don't know where to buy some things. You don't know how to negotiate sometimes. You don't know you don't know, I've been apologized, but you don't know what kind of, what race to negotiate with. Some people will say they're paid hourly. They will use 1 hour of their time to smoke cigarette and to drink coffee. And you pay for that hour. But guess what? You are learning the ropes of standing alone in case 9 to 5 says leave. The way I was let go 3 years after I came to Canada. You are also increasing your rate of your return on investment with flipping mindset. But you can't do this alone. You have to get someone to hold your hand so that your mistakes will not be too much. Because sometimes some people don't have the mind to bounce back when they make terrible mistakes. Because when you're buying a house, to want it to flip, there's what we call latent and patent defects. You cannot break, before you put an offer for that house, you cannot break all the walls and look at all the pipes inside that house. No. The highest thing is you call an inspector, and the person will inspect for asbestos, molds, some cracks and stuff that he or she can see. But thank God now that we have some equipment that when you wear like a goggle, the goggle can look through the drywall and see what's behind the drywall. But not everything. Not as inspectors will not go into the roof and start checking for. No, they would not. So when you buy a house and you want to flip and you start renovating, new things could be popping up. That's why you need a mentor to explain to you that, hey, there's going to be a markup. If you have $40,000 for this investment, for the repairs, hey, add extra $20,000 and look at the numbers when you want to sell and see if it's profitable. You can't work on this on your own. Well, let's jump back to buying your home. There are tips you need to put into consideration for location. In real estate, location is key. You cannot go wrong when you work smartly to get a good location. So please don't just buy near your workplace. Oh, I work in the south, so I want to buy my house in the south. Well, are you going to work there for life? Mistakes I did. My wife was working in Nisku, so we bought a house close to Nisku. Guess what? She got laid off. Now she's working in the west of Edmonton. She has to drive 35 minutes to work and 35 minutes back. So I'm not presenting to you guys based on ChatGPT. This is real life. She's had to drive 35 minutes. But the good thing that happened to us was we bought a house in a good location. A location that is easy to rent, a location that the property increases in value. But the truth is, when we're buying, we didn't know all those things. We're not smart enough to know all those things as at that time. So we just go, oh, madam, your house, just 10 minutes drive. Okay. 2 years, 3 years after, she got laid off. In fact, she got laid off the same time I got laid off. It was from COVID. So, and now we can see that the future of the workplace is virtual. COVID has made us understand, and now AI has made us understand. Many people are saying, hey, we don't need an office anymore. I know a real estate brokerage that they don't have an office. So, now check neighborhoods for schools, crime rates, and the general vibe of the public of that towards that location. For family people, when you buy a house that is close to school, when you are renting it, you have just increased the market share of those who will look for your house to rent because they have kids too. There are a lot of things to put into consideration. Now, I'm going to say this. In Canada, I don't know about the UK, but in Canada, the government has fashioned real estate to a point where they put privacy as key and as premium. That's why some lots you buy, when you're buying a house, a brand new house, for example, you are paying for the house and the lot. The lot is the land. So you can build one model A or type A of a house on a particular lot, and it costs you $500K. And you can build that same type on another lot and cost you $600,000 just based on the location in the same community. Give an example. A house that is backing onto another house, the lot is cheaper than a house that is backing onto the green space or the lake. Another example, a house backing onto another house is more expensive than a house backing onto a major road because of noise. So in Canada, they are fast. We in Nigeria, we didn't know all these things. They are fashioned so there's privacy and you pay premium for that. So you want to also research if that area has a good return on asset value increase. And also, you want to understand, hey, what is my exit strategy for this property I'm buying? Do I want to sell it? Do I want to renovate over time and flip it? Do I want to rent it? Do I want to refinance it? There's a difference between in mortgage, there's a difference between refinancing and renewal of mortgage. Refinancing helps you to pull out equity. Some people use to buy a car, which I don't think is a smart idea. And some people pull out equity to buy another house. We'll get into that. Okay. I learned this in my study as to becoming a realtor some years ago. That an average immigrant in Canada will typically buy a home 4 times of their in their lifetime. The first time is, hey, let's leave a rental apartment. They might not have so much money, but they just want to leave a rental apartment. So most of the time, the house is small, or the house is not their dream home, or it's just something they want to manage. Now, there is a huge pro to that, because when you are going to the stage 2 of now you are not financially capable, you can rent that house easily. Another example, mistake I made, my first home, if I want to rent it now, who will rent it from my hand? But if I use that money my down payment to buy 2 small homes, the day I'm moving to a bigger home, I can easily rent that house. Put it in mind, there's also risk in renting. If your rental is $200,000 to $2,400, for example, the day your tenant has a mortgage approval, what would they do? They're not loyal to you. They also have the dream that you had, not to pay rent. They will gladly get the mortgage approval and move to their own home. Then you are now back into the market. So one of the mistakes I did was I had a down payment. I should have bought 2 homes. In fact, as a first-time home buyer, you can buy 4 homes at the same time, all with 5%. By the time it gets to the 5th home, it's now commercial. So what I should have done was probably bought the 4-plex or 2 duplex or 2 sets of duplexes. With that same money I used to buy 1 house. Now that I'm in this house and I want to move, who will rent this house from me? The minimum rent for this place is $3,500. Who will pay $3,500 and for how long? But if I had bought a smaller home, it would have been easier for me to move. So now the option I have is, okay, either rent to an office where they have their senior guys come in and go out and stuff, or I sell, and it might not be a good time to sell. So you see, sometimes our decisions could have repercussions in the future. If you put your real estate journey, look at it as an investment, you will not be sentimental about it. You want to make money. That's all you want to do. So the second stage is now when you now say, okay, madam, I think we have now we are grounded in Canada, we have more money, let's buy another house. Now, typically it's a bigger house. If you have bought a sizable house the first time, it'll be easy to rent and for positive cash flow, because you have paid the mortgage over time and the rental space will probably have increased. So you have positive cash flow. Now, what happens is you are still working, whether 9 to 5 or being independent, and you are getting something small from the property as cash flow, which can help as mortgage helper. And if you want to do it smartly, the first house you want to buy, whether big or small, already have a legal basement. So you have 2 incomes. And most of the time, you rent the up to a different person and the down to a different person. You know why? If you rent one house that has a legal basement to one person, if that person moves, the whole house is empty. But if you rent the main house to to one tenant, tenant A, and your legal basement tenant B. The day tenant A says it's going, you still have something coming for tenant B. And those two will not use their property in the same way. But if it's one person, the guy might destroy the whole house. We have people like that. The rental space too is crazy. That's why I always say, you can try with your basement first. Put your toe in the water, see how warm it is before you put all your body into it. So if you do that and you can rent the up and down, there will be positive cash flow to help your mortgage for the next house. And some of us, we came with 2 kids, now we have 4. God bless us, maybe we'll have 6, maybe next year, amen. You know, and things like that. So your family is growing bigger. And the truth is, the moment you buy a house and you tell your folks in Nigeria, any friend coming in, you say, I have my child, he has a house. Your house will always be full. And those ones will come, they will use water, they will use light, and these things add up. Oh, my son has a house. He just bought the house last year. Oh, don't worry. Your daughter is coming. I mean, don't worry. Don't worry. She's fine. I'm not saying don't help, but these things count. So prepare yourself. Now, the third stage is you want to buy your dream home. That's where you made many mistakes. You now know the terrain. You want to buy your dream home. And guys, people, when they say real estate investing, it's not only home purchase. Have it in mind. If you want to create a real estate portfolio, don't only put your eggs into buildings. You can also buy bare lands. The place you are living today was bush some years ago. Somebody was smart enough to buy it at a particular price and wait the long game. That's why long-term investing is good. For example, life insurance, if you have the permanent life insurance, it's good. And the good thing is, banks do not finance a land that you will not build in the next 2 years. So which means you don't have it. Which means you have to save the money and pay. No basic. Which also means that your property tax on that land is just bare land, is small. And you are not maintaining it, no wear and tear. You're not buying truck of water to come and water the land. No, it's just there. And you even have trees, lumber, which you can sell. So when you are creating a portfolio, a real estate portfolio, it's not only buying houses. Houses also have wear and tear. And there's what we call building code. They change over time. That's why you see a house of 2015 and as of now, the ceiling height, things have changed. Because things begin to evolve. Very soon we'll be living we'll be able to move up. People move their homes from point A to point B. So very soon, that will be the norm. Movable homes, just buy land, move your house, they'll move it for you. Watch videos. I'm not joking, I'm serious. So we have to be futuristic. Well, time is going. Your dream homes will be the third, and the fourth one is you want to downsize. Because most of the time, your dream home is a good environment and a massive house. Then, when your kids go, that's for those who have kids, you now start calling your wife in the bedroom, you are in the kitchen. The house is too big. Honey, where are you? I'm in the kitchen. I'm just coming from there. You now want to downsize. Now, the question is, what happens to that big home? Can you rent that big home out? Or just sell? But because you are getting towards retirement age, you already have life insurance that will help your retirement. It's also a bonus. Sell and you enjoy, you have a good retirement, or give it to your kids, which is another topic we have to look into, how to transfer real estate from one generation to another. Because the government is there to take off the roof, take off the sidings, and leave you with the foundation. So all you built, government is ready to strip it off, what we call dim disposal. So those are the 4 different stages. Some people will now go through this route, all properties forming part of a family real estate portfolio, or some will sell and move back to, example, Nigeria. Which one are you planning to do? But I'm toasting, how many moments do I have so that I can know what to do? Because we started late.
Let's say 15, but
Good.
I know you can do this.
Now, how do you turn one property into many? The key for those who have not bought a house, the key is to plan your next purchase from your first and always work with a trusted mortgage specialist or mortgage broker. The difference to the specialist is they work in one bank, your RBC, your TD, and the rest. A broker doesn't work for any bank, so they can go through different places and get you the best possible interest rates. But whichever one, just work with the mortgage specialist and the mortgage broker, planning your second home from now, gaining knowledge, and knowing how to pull out equity at the right time. Then understanding how you can create ways to add value to your property. Because if you add value to your property legally, your property value from the government would also increase because you need permits. Everything you are doing, if you do it legally and the government gives you permit and gives you go ahead, they will also you also see the effect in the value of your property when it comes to the government value. And you also need to learn market trends in your area or the area you want to invest in. I'm hoping you guys understand. I'm talking about people who see real estate as an investment, not mommy, I just buy a house. You want to ask yourself some strategic questions. Questions like, will this home make me money or drain me? Don't forget the 50% stress test that you do personally after the bank has done their own. Be true to yourself. You also want to understand the deemed disposal of assets by the government. So you understand how to structure your real estate portfolio and to whether to buy it in your name or to buy it in a company name or whether to will it to a trust. Most people don't understand the difference between will and trust. Some people ask me, when is the best time to have a will? The best time to have a will is when you buy your first asset. Example, car. Of course, it's a depreciating asset, but excuse me, if one passes away and the person has a car, who will the person who own the car? The government. You can't just there's no when you're buying the car, there's no you don't mention beneficiary in the car when you're buying the car. No. So the best time to get your will is now. The moment you buy your first car, not even house, car, no matter how small it is, get a will. But what is the difference between a will and a trust? Just short, high level. A will gives you ownership. A trust gives you control. I repeat, a will gives you ownership. A trust gives you control. This is what happens in Canada. If you buy a house in your name and you pass on, the government will see that asset as though you sold it. They will add it to your income upon death, and the family will pay the taxes before a will can be enacted. So if your family don't have money to pay for that tax, example, you have total asset of $2 million, and the government is taxing you that amount, taxing you a particular amount, let's say $400,000, and your family don't have it, hey, you can't. You have to sell one or sell two or sell three. And that's how people get life insurance, especially the permanent life insurance, the whole life, the universal life, so that when they pass on, their kids can get the proceeds and pay anything they want to pay and own those properties debt-free. There's what we call buy, borrow, die. I'm not getting into that today, but buy, borrow, die is buy real estate, borrow the equity, buy more real estate. But while you are doing that, make sure your life insurance is matching the value of the real estate. So upon death, the family will take the life insurance, pay off the house. That means you, because of the strategy you have put in place and the system you have put in place before passing, you have transferred assets to your children tax-free. You have transferred assets to your children debt-free. There are many things to be used, so don't let me go into that. But yeah, so you also want to know the difference between fixed and variable mortgage and which one to go for now. Someone will ask me right now, what should I do? Go variable. I'm not saying do obey me. I'm just saying, think about it, because the government is pushing the interest rate down. If you had fixed in February, in January, you'd have had 4.3, 4.4, but now it's 3.99. So imagine you fix at that time for 5 years. Hey, what happens? You can't come back again because you have to pay penalties. But with variable, you can change. But now that Trump is shouting 25% and Canada has retaliated, where are we going? So if you look at real estate as an investment, you will think as an investor and look at the parameters around you. Not just walk into your home and go and buy a house. Now that Trump is saying 25%, so that means, so what is that to us? Will the price of home increase? Will things increase? Yes. Lexus told us that, hey, well, we cannot process your application now because all the car you want to buy is coming in from Indianapolis. So if the car is $80,000 now, add 25%. So give us some time. Let's think about it. That's where we're going. So you have to know what's going on around you. And if you don't know, ask ChatGPT, ask Meta AI on WhatsApp, or ask a professional. Don't be shy. And if you need to pay, no shaking. It's for your own good. Don't walk blindly. You also need to know, how long will I stay here in this house? I plan to stay here for 5 years. Now I'm going on 7. That's the truth. Because I don't want to sell. And if I rent, how long will the person pay? Now, another thing is, even after you buy the house, what happens to your income? And what happens to your ability to pay for that house if your income goes down by 30%? What happens? That's why you need to have streams of incomes. Make your house pay for you, pay you. Rent a part of it. For example, the basement. If you have a home office or a home, try to, be creative. And always maintain your house so that it can be accepted by the market if you want to resell. I have a client who I am helping him renovate his entire house, because when he rented it out to somebody, he did not maintain, he did not look after his own property. He rented it out and he closed his eyes. The person spoiled the house, waterlogged the house. Now the guy is spending $50,000 to repair that house. But the rental has gone. The tenant has gone. So there are many things you need to put into consideration. Look, if you want to rent your house, every 6 months you have the right to go and check what's going on. And never rent with emotions, with sentiments. Because when the tenant is leaving, they won't sentimentally repair your house. They won't sentimentally give you $50,000 and say repair your house. No. So every 6 months, go into your house and inspect your house, whether it's basement or your rental properties. Inspect them for your own sanity, because for you is an investment. For your tenant is a temporary place of stay. For you is your investment. Another thing is, what is your exit strategy? Some houses are not meant to be refinanced. Maybe because there's crime rate there. Sell and move on. Some houses you want to flip. Some houses you want to sell. So my final thoughts is what? Real estate is more than buying a home. It can give you financial freedom. So, but you have to be intentional, strategic, and you have to be forward and future thinking. Your home should be your first investment and not your last investment. And work with a trusted professional that gives you knowledge. At this point in time, it is this man that I just spoke to you that's on the screen. That's my name, my email. My first email is for my real estate selling. The second one is for my prepared contractor, and that's the website, and that's my phone number. And now, I don't mind questions and answers. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll stop sharing my screen. No, let me leave it like this. Yeah, okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Segun Walter Keshiro, for this presentation, for opening our eyes and minds to simple little things that we should take cognizance of. Because most of us come in here, and of course, I would say that some of us made some mistakes, and some of us might, like I said, might be feeling guilty that we are not early enough to start. We didn't start early to buy our houses or our first home. I know that some people have questions to ask. So let's make it conversational. It's an open conversation. He's ready to make it conversational with you. So please unmute yourself, ask questions, please. Okay, I think Adiola wants to say something. Adiola, you have the floor. And we'll go with Samuel. So Adiola is still there. Hello, Adiola, are you there? Or we should go with Samuel? Okay, Samuel, please, can you unmute yourself and then speak? I think.
Thank you so much, Tosin. God bless you, Shegun. Thank you for a very, very insightful session. I have a number of questions running through my, but the first I can quickly get out is you just spoke about rental challenges. Now, is there a way to insure against the damages your renter can inflict on your rental property?
Yes. Thank you very much, Samuel. The first thing you want to do is now. First thing you want to do, but do it in two ways. You can do it in two ways. The first one is you want to put into consideration that this is your asset, and you want to put time to manage your asset properly by yourself, or get a trusted property manager to manage your assets for you. They take 10% of the rent every month. Now, if you know that your cash flow is not positive to that point, you can give 10% to someone else to manage it for you. So you might want to manage it yourself. And that's why most people get their rental properties close to them. That does not mean I can't get in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and the rest, or wherever. At that point in time, you might not want to use family. You want to use someone professional so they can hold the person. Now, that's one. The number two thing is you always have. So number two thing is, by the time you are renting, do not be sentimental about your renting process. Get security deposit. Now, sometimes the damage can be over the security deposit, but you have something in your hand. And security deposit most times, is 1 month extra being paid. Now, be careful. When you get that money, you can't spend that money. You have to put it in an account that can be accounted for. So if that tenant does not spoil anything, you have to return that money plus the amount the money has made in that account. Example, if the rental is 2,500, you can't put it in your own checking account. You have to put it in an account whereby that's almost the only money only money there. Or if you know how to do with your accountant and stuff, if you have multiple properties, you can start prorating how much you're getting as interest on that account. So when the person is leaving and you go and inspect your house and your house is spotless, by law, you are meant to return that money back plus the amount the money has made in the bank. Does it make sense? So how do you mitigate? One, maintain your property by yourself. Two, you have to understand who you are renting to. Do a proper research of who you are renting to. Now, you cannot do a proper research and get the right information at once, or maybe the first 2 or 3 meetings you meet the person. No. Always, every 6 months or 3 months, have it in the contract. Every 3 months or every 6 months, you will walk into that and do a general inspection. Another thing that saves people like us is the contract is tight, airtight. Use a lawyer. The contract is airtight to the point where if the house I'm giving you is brand new, there are no leaks, no nothing. I will come back in the next 2 months to come and check if there are leaks and repair. From that 2 months, from the third month, any leak you must repair. The lawyer will use that word must repair. So that way you can tie it to the person. And don't forget, anybody you're renting to, you have that same number. So if the person runs away, you can take it by law. So you cannot be sentimental because the renter will move. You go stay with your own wahala. So 3 months, always go into the place and check what's going on. I'm not saying just badge and intrude. I'm saying check what's going on. That way, when something is going on, you can pick it at least every 3 months or every 6 months. Aside from that, I can't really say there's something you can do directly by yourself. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Okay. Yes, you have. Yes, I was thinking maybe there was like, but I think you said it that you could also take like 10% of your rental of their rent, and that's like giving it to a third party, right?
The property manager.
But I was thinking of like the insurance product of sorts that there's nothing like that.
For insurance?
Yes.
Okay, so
That's like
now
that's like an insurance product, like life insurance, term insurance, whatever, that you could buy ahead at the point you are renting it out to someone.
There's what we call home insurance. That's one, where you insure your house, especially if you are renting it out for the exterior. Now, the rental too will have insurance, rental insurance, to insure your house in case there's any leak, any damage. So when you are renting a house to somebody, you cannot give them a house without them having a comprehensive rental insurance. It's called tenancy insurance. So you will have homeowner insurance for that house. The tenant will have tenant insurance for that house. The reason why you cannot have the comprehensive that will cover leaks and stuff is because you're not living there. But you have the one in case it burns down. Does it make sense? Or the roofing, or like the exterior, that one you will cover. But the other person covers the interior. So the person will have what we call tenancy insurance. And it should be comprehensive. There are leaks, there are this, there are that. Now, you can't get it all at once. The insurance will not repair every small thing. There's a crack, they'll come and repair. That's not how it works. So you still have to monitor your investment and work hand in hand with either your property manager or the tenant itself, maintaining what you have. But yes, there's an insurance. You will have one insurance. That's you own the home, homeowner insurance. You can't get possession of that house without having insurance. Now, the person too should not get possession of the house without having the tenant's insurance. Does it make sense?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Samuel, thanks for that question. And Mr. Segun Walter Keshiru, thank you for making it as simple as for Samuel to understand and for us to. We have Tessie. I'll get back to the chats, but let's finish with those who have their hands raised that want to voice out. So Tessie Agbato, she's also my co-host, and she wants to ask a question.
Hello, thank you so much, Mr. Segun, for this insightful webinar. I'm grateful for this. So my question is, what's your take on multifamily units for a new home buyer? Will you advise someone to do that, like rent one part of it, then get to stay in one part? So what is your take if we have the 5% to put down? Yeah.
Yes. So, well, before I go ahead, I would like to mention that I know one Agbato. She's like a sister to me, and I don't know if you know her, but we'll get back to that later. But one Agbato I know is like a sister.
Yeah, it's still me.
Do you know any Elizabeth?
Elizabeth's sister, yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I apologize. Okay, now, good question. I'm not going to give you stories. I'm going to give you what happened to me. I came to this country July 13, 2018. I started working immediately, all patch, earning $13,000 after tax every month. And of course, we came with a proof of funds. Then, October 1st, I told my wife, let's buy a house. And she said we are too early, that people will have asked that we must have 1 year rental history for buy a house. At least my 3 months in the office should have been completed. That's professional period before I buy a house. But I still went. October 1st, I walked into Brookfield Residential. I'm not advertising for them, but yeah, I walked in Brookfield Residential, and I started looking for a home. And when they asked me how much I was going to pay for down payment, it was X amount, which was a little bit huge. And the man said, hey, my advice to you, 2 things. I like your personality, become a realtor. Then second thing, don't buy one house, buy 4 homes. Buy 4 townhouses or a 4-plex. He said, live in one and rent the remaining 3. Watch the market grow, because right now is a buyer's market. Once you are comfortable, because you are buying right, once you are comfortable, so buy 4, rent 1, but pay 5% on all 4, instead of paying 23% on 1. Now, once you have rented those 3, watch it grow. Your property will be increasing in value because the time value of money that I mentioned before. And also, the rental, they are the ones paying the mortgage, not you. And it's easy to rent out because it's not a big house. Now, after 3-4 years, reevaluate, look at the market trend, work with a professional if you're not one, to see if it's the right time to sell. But you are making money now because it's the buyer's market, and the right time to make money is when you buy. Madam Tessie, I said, I've heard. But because I'm coming from Nigeria with the mentality of I don't want to owe, my plan was to pay my house in 5 years. Because in Nigeria, you cannot walk into GT Bank and say, give me 400 million naira to build a house. Who are you? So we did not go through that route. 4 years later, of course, I became a realtor the next year, but 4 years later, what happened? He called me and said, if you had yielded to my advice, you'd have been $400,000 richer as we speak. You now take that money, and because you'd have sold the remaining 3, rent 1, take that profit, buy your mansion. In fact, buy it outright if you want to. So I'm not here I'm not here to sell. I'm here to give you real life story. So it happened to me. And guess what? I will not stay down. So I'm telling all my clients that, hey, see what happened to me. If you have the power, do it. But you also have to be careful. You have to understand what comes with rentals. And you also have to be careful to understand the market trend at that point in time. Right now, that Trump has come with his idea, we don't know where we're going to. Everyone is just at it. We don't know where we're going to. We don't know. But is that the right mindset? Yes. But please work with a professional. Tessie, we can talk after this meeting. I didn't know you were the one. So that we can look at the numbers and see what's going on. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.